Speaking of population crisis, sometimes the other end of the spectrum is also a problem, especially when it's about an urban nightmare. Let's turn our attention to New York. It's an American city home to about 8 million people, known for its baseball, pizzas, towering skyscrapers, and rats. Tonight, we'll talk about that last bit. It's impossible to calculate how many rats live in the Big Apple. Estimates from 2014 say about 2 million, but urban legend says there are more rats than people in New York. These rodents are fast, furry, and relentless, and they're everywhere, from parks and subways to inside cupboards and walls. And the city has been at war with them for years. Well, now they have a new commander, New York City's first ever rat czar. Her name is Kathleen Corradi. She's the new director of Rodent Mitigation. And she's been hired to fight this ratty problem and is being paid $155,000 for it. Here's a report.
Rattus norvegicus. Sounds like the name of a supervillain, right? That may as well be, because we're talking about New York City's most vicious enemy, common brown rats. Every mayor has waged war against them, and mostly lost. Maybe because these rodents have a secret weapon. They know how to play hide and squeak. But have they finally met their match? Meet New York City's first ever rat czar, Kathleen Corradi. Officially, the new director of Rodent Mitigation. She's a rat activist and a former elementary school teacher. Now, Corradi has one job and one job only, to win the battle against millions of rats. Because they're everywhere. Rats seem to be one with New York, so much so that they even feature in its pop culture. Remember Splinter, the wise martial arts master from the cartoon Ninja Turtles? Or Phoebe from popular sitcom Friends? She wanted to raise the mice living in her cupboard. Or the viral pizza rat, who's seen carrying a large single slice of pizza down the stairs. As cute as these portrayals may seem, rats are a nuisance in New York.
You know, we joke about it, but all of you to think about, imagine coming home and opening your cabinet and having a rat come out. Or like those mothers that said to me back when I was the borough president, they came into my office with photos of bite marks on their children, their babies in their carriages.
They are a top public concern, along with the likes of crime, homelessness, and rising rents.
The rats are taking over. They're on the subways, on the platforms. We've got pizza rat. We've got rats everywhere you turn.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the sanitation department. They don't pick up the garbage and they leave the streets, ripe for rats to be around.
I think, well, they put some traps, but I don't know if they're working on. If they really check the traps very often or... not traps, also like a poison, something like that they put in. But I guess so. I think they need to put more attention on this because it's a lot.
There's the obvious ick factor, but more than that, rats spread deadly diseases, which can cause dizziness, food poisoning, and even organ failure. In 1860, a newborn child was mutilated and killed by rats. There are no recent reports of death by rats, but bites are relatively common. This is why New York wants to combat them. It seems like the city has tried everything, poured in tens of millions of dollars, put up rules limiting how long garbage can sit out, poisoned the rodents, used dry ice to suffocate their burrows, physically tried to catch them, and even deployed a rodent academy that has cadres of foot soldiers with a mission to vanquish these rats. But nothing worked. Now, the hopes of the Big Apple lie with Corradi. She wants to take away food sources for the rats and launch a rat mitigation zone, which will be a $3.5 million project.
Rat mitigation is more than a quality of life issue. Rats are the symptom of systemic issues, including sanitation, health, housing, and economic justice. You can't just deal with one part of the problem and call it a day. We need system-wide solutions, strong leadership, and an engaged population to join the efforts. That's where I come in.
New Yorkers are hoping that this works, because if it doesn't, the last resort will probably be hiring a Pied Piper, who can lure the rats away with his magic tune. And we all know how that story ends.